What's up, guys? Welcome to your 63rd C++ tutorial, and in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you guys another example of exception handling. So let me go ahead, and I want to cover one other little inky dinky thing. It isn't a main concept, but if I don't cover this, I'm gonna it's like OCD. I need to cover it or else it's going to bug me for the rest of my life. So let me go ahead, and first, what I like to do is this. Whenever I'm working with exception handling, I like to set up the framework first. So I like to go ahead and put try right there, and after this put catch with my parameters right like that. And that way, whenever we get typing a bunch of code in here, I don't have to go search and be like, all right, what's this curly brace go to? What do these parentheses go to? It's really easy if you set up the outside first and work your way in. Then that way you don't get confused. So let's go ahead, and in this program, I just want to build a really simple calculator. I'm going to have the user input two numbers, and I'm going to make sure that the bottom number is not 0, because remember, you're not allowed to divide by 0, or else your computer is going to blow up. So what I like to do first is well, before I even do that, let's go ahead and just start with the program. So let's go ahead and make two variables, int num1, and I'll save int num2 for later. So let's go ahead and give the user a prompt like cout, and we'll just say something like enter first number, end line. And now let's go ahead and give them a way to enter that number into num1. And by the way, I read this a couple days ago, and maybe this will help you guys understand this arrow and this arrow. The arrow shows the direction that information is flowing. Now, whenever you output something, it goes to your computer screen. So this text is going to your computer screen. Now, whenever you input something, it gets inputted and stored as a variable on your computer. So the text that you enter is going to be stored in a variable in your computer. You see where the information's flowing? To your computer screen, to your computer. Basically, the information is flowing to the user and back into the computer. Pretty cool, huh? So I probably should have said that in like my second tutorial, but 63 tutorials in, I guess is better late than never. So now the user entered a number and it's stored in the variable number1. So now might as well just copy this right here and copy this and paste it right over here, and we'll change this to 2. So enter 2, it's going to be stored at 2, and enter second number. Pretty good. So now after this, what we want to do is, it really doesn't matter what number they enter for number 1, as long as it's a number. But number 2, it does matter, because the second number cannot be equal to 0, because if you remember from 5th grade math class or whatever, you can't divide by 0. It's illegal. The math gods will not allow it. So let's go ahead and have an error message pop up whenever you try to divide by 0. And we can just go ahead and put a simple if statement. If num2 is equal to 0, let's go ahead and throw an exception. We'll just throw the number 0. And now what we want to do is, remember, if number 2 is not equal to 0, that means that the numbers that they entered were valid. So we'll just go ahead and print out the answer on the screen. Num1 divided by num2, and in that line. So basically, if they enter 0 as a second number, we're going to get an error. If they enter two valid numbers, it's just going to print out the answer by dividing the top number by the bottom number. So if we do indeed get an error, remember, in the last tutorial I taught you guys that you can pass in a number to use as like an error reference number, and you can just write something cout you can't divide by x. And that way, whenever we throw 0, it's going to pass 0 in as x, and it's going to say you can't divide by 0. So let's go ahead and run this and see what happens. Enter the first. I'm going to first run a program that works perfectly. Enter 32 for my first one, enter 16 for my second one, and 32 divided by 16 is indeed 2, as we can see here. So my program is working beautifully. But let's go ahead and say that we have an idiot that's gonna, never knows how to use a calculator and is gonna try to divide by 0. Okay, 32. Okay, everything's going good so far. But then I'm gonna try and enter 0 as my second number, and whenever I try to hit this and solve this riddle, we can see you can't divide by 0. So as you notice, as soon as you get an error message, it basically just jumps right down to this catch block right here, and it says, hold on, you did something wrong, here's your error message, you can't divide by 0. So now the little itty bitty thing I want to cover in this tutorial is this. You can have multiple catch blocks to catch different types of error messages. Right now the only type of error message I showed you guys is an integer error, but you can catch a double, you can actually catch a character if you want. You can catch any different type you want. Now, aside from covering that, I don't need to show you guys, the different types of error messages you can catch. But what I do need to show you guys is this little thing right here, dot dot dot. You're saying, what the heck type is this? A dot dot dot. Okay, I understand that I can catch, ints and characters. Whenever you just want any error message to be caught. For example, you don't know what error message is going to happen in this try block, but anytime any error message occurs, you just want it to be caught right here. Then you can use the dot dot dot. So dot 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 is pretty much the all-encompassing, the default catch. So basically, if you have an so basically, anytime an error message is thrown, it's going to be caught by the dot dot dot, no matter if it's an int, character, yada yada yada. So with that being said, this is the catch that you see most often. I just wanted to throw you guys the piece of information that you can indeed catch specific types of error messages, but this is the one you're going to see more often. So let's go ahead and try and run this, and it says, alright, and 1 second, I did something wrong. Oh, I see what I did. I actually tried to pass an X, and X is no longer existing. So I'm going to go ahead and try to run this one more time, and you see it says, enter first number, 32, and then we try to divide by 0, get an error message, and we get that default, you can't divide by error message. So typically you would want to write something like this. It would probably make more sense, but anyways, I just want to stress to you guys that aside from catching different types of error messages, you can also catch general error messages, and that's what we're going to be doing most of the time. So now that you understand most of everything there is to know about exception handling. There are a couple other things that I don't even know if I want to cover or not. There's like passing in objects that you can catch, and also inheriting from exception classes and default messages and stuff, but I really don't know if I want to get into that. I mean, we understand the basics, so in the next tutorial, don't know if I'm going to be covering more about exception handling or, jumping into the next topic. But either way, it's going to be amazing. So if you have any questions, check out my forum, thenewboston.com/forum. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in the next video.